Movers haul boxes out of a North Meadows house, a TV playing in the background as they work. On screen, anchor Katie Cartwright marks 20 years since the Handsome Man murders. A string of killings that left bodies stuffed in suitcases, crammed into fast food vents. The broadcast cuts to bigger news. Congress just passed a sweeping education law, and buried in it is a disaster for one specific group, the 2008 graduating class of North Meadows High. Every student now legally needs 180 full school days to graduate, but that class lost 2 weeks to a disastrous tornado. So the school board makes the call. That whole class, now pushing 35, has to come home and finish high school all over again. One of the movers freezes, realizing it's her own school on TV. Anchor Katie takes interview and tells North Meadows is her school as well. Across town, Sonny Football sits in group therapy, confessing he was a selfish jerk in high school, a guy who called girls fat behind their backs. A person pushes him to face that old version of himself, and Sonny vows he's brave, strong, and ready to live boldly. Everyone claps for him, and he seems very happy. He starts eating all the food and carries along with him. Teddy Mayo gets the same news at home, telling his wife Victoria he wants a real do-over. Victoria just tells him to buy their son new shoes, but Teddy's already dreaming bigger. At an office across town, Curtis Eldridge gets called in and fired on the spot. His boss calls him secretive, friendless, and oddly obsessed with the gym, to the point co-workers think he's training to kill someone. Curtis insists he's not training to kill anyone, but his boss just tells him to go home. Little later, Amelia Nadler is at a mid-divorce. Her husband Tim asks her to leave for a new woman and mentions about vanilla. On the radio, a RJ poses one question to the town. Claire Dubois snaps at her mom for pushing her to work. Since her restaurant career ended when she accidentally killed a customer, the RJ invites everyone to a welcome home party that night. Inside North Meadows High, the teachers panic at the thought. One teacher named Peg asks, "Can we fuck the kids?" Everyone discuss to lay out the rules. A person say everything has to run exactly like 2008. Same classes, same sports, even the same school play. Since that play is tangled up with the town's other dark legacy. Sonny, who seems very happy that day, randomly says cool to everyone. Matt brags to his friends he's finally ready to confess his feelings, insisting he was the one who truly loved her back then. Turns out all three friends say the exact same thing. Matt Klinger proposes a bet. Whoever lands Katie first wins $15, and shake on it. At home, Principal Nadler tells Amelia her late father would be proud. Amelia scoffs. She's a divorced HR rep who destroyed her own soul defending a faceless corporation. She used to be the ambitious girl who'd change the world. And now she's terrified to face that same crowd again. Her mom pushes her toward the reunion, calling it a second chance. Across town, Teddy shows up at his own bar, where his business partner Frizz is furious he skipped work, reminding him they already booked a reunion. Meanwhile, Sonny runs into Teddy for the first time in years, slipping into his old group therapy script. Teddy has no idea what he's talking about. At the bar, Amelia walks up to order, and Teddy, not recognizing her, snaps at her order. She reminds him who she is. The girl who used to say, "Just mustard, please." At the other end of the bar, Matt spots someone shocking and tells Sonny he won't believe who just walked in. Sonny tells her she looks normal. She thought he was dead. Across the bar, Amelia spots Claire Dubois, reminding her they were home ec partners and that Claire once threw a pizza at her. Sonny asks Claire for a drink, and neither of them wants their old high school drink anymore. Claire asks where he's even been all these years, when really he secretly lived inside an Applebee's for 3 weeks. Nearby, Curtis Eldridge spots Amelia, and she instantly remembers him. He's stunned she even remembers him at all, since he was just a small part next to her star turn. He admits he hasn't acted since high school, and she asks why she ever stopped. Back with Sonny and Katie, the small talk turns awkward fast. Sonny brings up their old fake wedding in Teddy's backyard, the one where Katie walked through a glass door and bled all over her own dress. He stitched her up himself, very drunk. 24 stitches. Sonny and Katie remember the library was always their spot. Back to Amelia. She admits she's not even mad at Tim anymore. Curtis jokes his whole office thinks he's capable of murder, And Amelia admits honestly same. Across the bar, Teddy runs into Ron Felker, who can't even remember why they hate each other after 18 years. Teddy reminds him he ratted Ron out for bomb threats. Ron ended up working this exact bar for a father figure who died and accidentally left him the place. A shithole now stuffed with kids, bills, and bugs. Furious, Teddy throws Ron out. Ron insists he's actually changed. Sonny insists the band's song is their song. As the party winds toward last call, Sonny and Katie stumble out together, both clearly drunk. Curtis offers to make her breakfast, fumbling over what he even has. The next morning, a news report reopens the wound, reminding North Meadows it's known for one tornado. Ron Felker shows up to his actual first day. Over the PA, Principal Nadler welcomes everyone back to class, promising prom, the school play, and real final exams. Students flood the halls for first day photos. Sonny ambushing Katie at her locker just like old times. Homeroom teacher Ms. Janke introduces herself, making it very clear she's available for, quote, anything. By law, she plays the class a mandatory school PSA, a violent video starring local cameraman Whit Conway as a masked shooter. Whit's message lands hard. Everyone in this room is a suspect. Ms. Janke turns it into a guessing game. Katie throws suspicion on Claire, who jokes she'd just poison everyone instead. Both of them land on Amelia, mocking that they can't even remember her name. In gym class, Sonny tries to reconnect with Katie, and she immediately calls it a mistake. Katie tells Sonny they can't just pick up where they left off, and a guy keeps getting pegged in the nuts by stray balls. In anatomy class, TD rattles off wrong answer after wrong answer, insisting human skeletons have apparently changed since 2008. Across the room, a student whispers about a huge party Friday, casually revealing his parents just died. The house is empty. In drama class, Mr. Wiley reveals an old assignment. The class has to remount his play from 2008. Todd is detective, Sandra is wife, Curtis is the lead, Francois. Rehearsal starts with a murder scene. A coworker stabbed and stuffed into a suitcase. And partway through his line, Curtis suddenly blurts out, "Watch this." They restart the scene, but Curtis can't stop repeating it, the phrase spiraling out of him faster and faster, take after take. By the end, Curtis is sobbing, insisting he doesn't know what's happening to him. At home, Mark proudly announces he boiled dinner perfectly and warns Katie his mom is furious. Katie jokes about Mark's mom making him walk the plank, and then she walks off the table as the door knocks. Sonny comes to meet her, and she asks, "What are you doing here?" Trying to tell her seeing her again feels like his body remembers her. Before he can finish, Mark bursts in wearing a pirate costume, introducing himself as Captain Mark Spitz, Katie's fiancé. Sonny is blindsided. Katie never told him she was engaged. Mark cheerfully invites Sonny in for boiled chicken. Back at school, Ms. Janke hands out old time capsules, each one packed with hopes and naive dreams. Teddy gets energy drinks in the capsule, insisting he'll literally die if he can't drink it. Principal Nadler begs everyone to just act normal for 2 weeks. Curtis panics that he can't do the play at all. At play, Amelia confronts her father figure about town rumors, asking him outright if the murder accusations are true. He deflects. Why would he kill anyone at a Cracker Barrel? He swears everything he does is only for her. Back at rehearsal, Amelia catches Curtis reciting the whole script. He brushes it off as old test prep instinct, like riding a bike. Amelia thanks him for helping her, and the moment lingers between them. In health class, Ms. Janke seductively tells a student's name, and the moment gets intense for her imagining. The other teacher praising some students and bluntly telling others they're just bad at school. In the hall, Teddy chases down Amelia. She bluntly calls him one of the dumbest people she's ever met. Marvin interrupts, gleefully reminding Teddy of his legendary 11-minute keg stand. Teddy insists he's an adult now, done with that chaos. Cornered, the new girl agrees to tutor him. On one condition, he has to help her be remembered. At the diner, Curtis tries to take Amelia's order amid total chaos. At another table, Katie and Mark discusses that his mom just set their wedding date. But Mark insists they've already waited 9 long years. Katie hedges, citing school and no job, insisting they'll always find excuses, but their love is enough. Back in health class, Ms. Janke sticks banana in a student's mouth. She says she likes nipple play and choke as partner. She asks everyone to share their stories. Claire repeatedly opts out, and Janke praises her for setting boundaries. Then she pulls Sunny and Katie up front for a dental dam demonstration, making Sunny lick Katie's arm in front of the whole class. Afterward, Janke quietly admits that was actually pretty hot. In the supply closet, Katie tells Sunny she can't keep doing this because she's getting married, for real, with an actual date set. Sunny blurts out that she legally can't marry Mark. Katie insists it was a joke at 18, pure irony. But Sunny pulls out an actual signed marriage certificate. Katie's stunned. She really signed it, thinking it was just a bit, never realizing the priest who married them was completely real. Elsewhere, Teddy asks for life advice, and Teddy suggests setting himself on fire and rolling down a hill. The grieving boy invites Teddy to his party, casually mentioning his parents just died. Amelia tells Tay they're going to that party, but he reminds her she promised to help with her science paper. He panics. Failing means he needs a perfect final exam to pass. Amelia gives in and agrees to help him. At the party, a host welcomes everyone in, offering up a keg and drugs. Across the party, Ms. Janke tries to seduce a parent. Claire refuses an edible, calling it too strong. Claire refuses an edible. Too strong, she says, then eats 2 whole loaves anyway. Across the yard, Teddy and Ron square off in a drunken keg stand standoff. Meanwhile, Katie ambushes Sunny with the actual divorce papers, demanding he sign them on the spot. He refuses outright. He wants to actually stay married to her. Katie snaps, asking if he plans to live in the library forever. And Sunny admits he's only staying there. He turns it on her, asking what happened to the wild girl he used to love. Katie snaps, asking if he'll live there forever. Katie finally snaps back. He's her fiancé, and she loves him. Because he's safe and he'll never just vanish for 20 years, the way Sunny once did, showing back up like a magic trick. Back at rehearsal, Curtis tells Amelia he loves this, confessing he's been having strange, overwhelming urges lately. He says sometimes you just have to act on an urge, and suddenly kisses her, then instantly apologizes and bolts. Back at the party, Sunny insists he never really left Katie, but she tells him that's always been his problem. He doesn't think, but tells himself to just sign the papers and let her go. At the party, the crowd chants for the gargoyle jump, and Matt eggs him on, insisting it'll make him a legend. Then Derek jumps and falls outside and dies. Over the PA, Principal Nadler announces prom night, begging everyone to behave and take their finals seriously, warning that 30-somethings can't keep mixing with actual teenagers next week. They casually mention a student died at a party, and nobody seems to care. The board gives Nadler an ultimatum: fix the grades or lose her job. Back in rehearsal, Todd narrates another body found in fast food vents. Mid-scene, Sandra suddenly bursts into song, asking how she can live with herself. Wiley stops her cold. It's a play, not a musical. Principal Nadler reads aloud from Ms. Janke's confiscated love letters, each one disturbingly specific about a particular Subaru Outback. Sunny keeps whispering for Katie to sign the divorce papers. A mystery admirer tells Mrs. Janke tells her to find him at prom, wearing a pink flower. At prom, the room is decked out, while Curtis and Amelia greet each other warmly across the floor. Sunny arrives and compliments Victoria. His outfits looks great. At the dinner table, everyone complains about the awful potluck food, while Amelia switches seats. She admits this is actually her very first prom. They laugh, recalling the pirate routine from that night. Katie asks Mark to grab him fruit punch. Curtis tells Amelia he's missed her in class, and she admits she's been avoiding him out of embarrassment. The band kicks off and Curtis asks Amelia to dance. Mid-song, Curtis checks in, telling Amelia she can dance with someone else. Suddenly, Tim crashes the prom, shouting Amelia's name, and Curtis shoves him off in a panic. Tim pulls Sunny onto the dance floor. On stage, Principal Nadler thanks the crowd. She announces this year's prom king and queen, Sunny Football, and Katie Cartwright. Mark pushes them together for the traditional first dance. Across the room, Victoria asks Mark if it's spicy, but he was emotional. Tim asks Katie that maybe she should just move back in. On the dance floor, Katie tells Tim, and there's no room left in her new life for him. Off to the side, Sunny references the movie's gym floor twist, and someone actually cranks the lever. Peter and Ron's screams out due to shock. Soaked, Sunny tells Katie she was wrong. He really does think. On the other side, Sunny tells exactly what a life with her would look like. He says he rehearsed exactly what he'd say to win her back. But here with her now, all he wants to say is that he's genuinely happy for her. Sunny apologizes for all the trouble he's caused her. Right then, Mark walks in and catches them together, the moment dissolving instantly into screaming and chaos. Meanwhile, Katie and Marks talks out and she hands over her ring. Teddy bombs his exam, failing question after question, and wakes up the next morning still drunk. Victoria tells him he looks and smells like garbage. She points to their house, their kids, the life they've built, asking if a failure could really have all of that, and promises she's not going anywhere no matter what. Teddy panics. He'd need a perfect score on every final to graduate. Victoria refuses to let him quit. Meanwhile, Amelia thinking about Curtis, she likes him, but Principal Nadler's exam announcement cuts her off mid-sentence. Nadler begs the whole school over the PA. In her office, she breaks down, admitting she's about to lose her job over the school's failing grades. If the class doesn't ace finals, they redo the whole semester, losing their jobs and their real adult lives all over again. Nadler explains this place saved her, and she wants that for someone else. Elsewhere, Amelia checks in on Teddy, and he admits he's tried his best. It's just impossible. He whispers he's found a way to cheat. If only he had the answers. Suddenly an alarm blares. A bomb threat has been called in, and Ron is instantly blamed, swearing he's been set up. Teddy quietly admits to a friend that he's the one who actually called it in. Teddy hands over everyone the exam answers. By the final bell, every student turns in their exam. Nadler wishing the play's cast good luck for tonight. Backstage, Amelia notices Curtis is missing right before curtain. Right before the play starts, Sandra collapses backstage, and the cast panics with no understudy and no show. Amelia volunteers on the spot to take Sandra's place, and stuns everyone by reciting the lines perfectly from memory. The cast cheers. The show is officially back on. But still, nobody can find Curtis anywhere. On stage, the detective questions Sandra about another murder, asking point blank where her husband Francois really was. Finally, Curtis stumbles on stage, visibly shaken, and breaks into a full song instead of saying his line. He sings out a confession, killing 5 handsome men for love. The audience just thinks it's part of the show. Curtis finishes with his old catchphrase, "Watch this," and the crowd erupts into cheers, completely missing the real confession. Police rush the stage and arrest him on the spot. The handsome manslayer of 2007 is finally in custody. Later, Ron and Teddy finally bury the hatchet. Ron invites Amelia to come cook at his bar, admitting he's smart enough to know when he needs help. Amelia finds Curtis after the chaos, and they finally bring up that kiss from before. He admits it would be cool to do that again, and then they kiss. Also, Sunny and Katie starts to bond again with a wine, and they end up in bed together. At graduation, Principal Nadler tells the class she's deeply proud of them, announcing every single student scored perfectly on their finals. She introduces the class valedictorian, Amelia Nadler, to a crowd that has no idea who she even is. Amelia admits she came back mortified, certain everyone would see her as a failure, but realized nobody cared, because nobody remembered her at all. She says even if they don't remember her, she remembers them, the discomfort of putting herself out there. Most importantly, she says she finally remembers herself. She rejects the idea of a second chance entirely, insisting every single day is just another chance. She wishes the whole graduating class good luck on what comes next. Teddy starts taking up photos with his family. Nearby, gossip spreads that Ron's missing parents might just be lost in the woods. Outside, Ms. Janke chat about holiday plans, and someone mentions she's thinking about buying a new car, the exact same Subaru Outback from the anonymous love letters. Curtis tells Ms. Janke he took her letters out of the trash, admitting he's the one who's been writing them all along. Amelia tells Curtis she's thinking of sticking around the school, and he admits so is he. Nearby, Ron scoffs at the whole idea of love being pathetic. Curtis shrugs it off, asking Amelia to grab a hot dog. Katie gives Ron his dropped diploma, and he thanks her, voice cracking with emotion. At the bar, Teety jokes with a regular about her dead father, while Amelia runs the kitchen, finally cooking exactly what she wants. Ms. Janke compliments the food, then heads back to her seat. Outside, Mark pulls up honking, dragging Katie off for ice cream, calling her part of his own personal Lonely Hearts Club. Sonny tells him to drive him to the next town instead. Mr. Wiley wonders what play to stage next year, unsure since one of his freshmen now has AIDS. A year later, Amelia stands at the front of her own class. Now Ms. Nadler calling on Ron Felker to answer the first question. Some things, it turns out, really do never change and the story end.